Woke up. It's the most.
Another local Topeka news, Topeka's newest high school, Topeka West High School, will hold its first annual winter formal dance to be held in a brand new gymnasium on the school site.
To the business, and they're asking if maybe they've got a school bus. Actually, for entrepreneurs.
Hello, I'm Rachel Damerville.
And I'm Lucas Jackson.
Welcome to Topeka West.
This short video charts a bit of our Topeka West story, but it can't tell the whole story because it's still being written. Some of it is being written by you.
Topeka West High School opened in 1961, and like us, it was unique from the start. A campus-style high school, one of the few in the Midwest, so it's always been a little different and always had to push a little harder from within to remain ahead of the curve. And like us, it had to establish an identity. In fact, think about preparing to start a school where our very school name had to be established.
By the way, some school names tossed about included Fairlawn because of the road that ran in front of the school, which, by the way, was mostly a dirt road at the time. There was also Mound View, because at the time you could see Burnett's Mound from our campus. We also could have been McVicker, named for the Reverend Peter McVicker, an early Washburn University president, or we could have been Miniger High School, named for the prominent family of psychiatrists who operated Minigers in Topeka at the time. The school board eventually decided on Topeka West.
Interesting, Lucas. You know, at the time we didn't have a school song either, so Howard Abernathy, whose daughter Lou attended Topeka West at the time, wrote one in 1965. It's the same one we sing today. And our pep song was established by the cheerleaders in 1962 while coming home on the train from a trip from Dallas, Texas cheer camp.
Something else too, we had no school colors or mascot, so school colors and a mascot were voted on by all the known incoming students to Topeka West in 1961 to 62. There were lots of different color combinations before they decided on purple and white. There was red and gray, red and blue, green and black, brown and white, blue and black. And as for the mascots, we could have been the Jayhawks, Wolverines, Pioneers, Knights, Spartans, Huskies, Rams, or Blue Devils. They had a lot to choose from.
As you know, they chose colors purple and white, and the mascot became our Charger. And sometimes our teams have wandered a bit from time to time, which drives some faculty crazy. But under it all, we are still old purple and white. And though the name of our mascot has changed,
yes, like Chester and Chaz, to name a few.
Over the years, we've always been the Chargers.
And since our school opened, our campus has seen changes too. We've added B building, the West parking lot, E building. We've seen additions and renovation to the Science building, additions to the gym, major additions to the A building and the library, and of course the new ROTC Let Center. We gained covered walkways, which the old alums hate, but we did lose our amphitheater, which I'm betting we would have loved to still have. The campus has endured a fire in the boys' locker room, a tornado that hit A building, and even an anthrax scare. Through it all, it continues to thrive on its unique style both inside and out.
Of course, Topeka West has grown. We've grown right along with it. And from the beginning, just like the school itself, we've carved out our own course in our own unique and individual ways. And now, nearly 60 years later, we've been around long enough to establish some pretty impressive history. As a school, Topeka West was one of the first in Kansas to be recognized as a school of academic excellence by a national blue ribbon panel. Its theater department was ranked in the top 50 in the United States, and the band has consistently done well at national bowl competitions. As for our graduates, doctors, attorneys, Supreme Court justices, educators, Media professionals, poets, authors, rock stars, heads of industry, you name it. Many got their start here. They walked the same sidewalks. Like us, they are a part of Topeka West's story, but they've written their own chapters. Their charter chapters are compelling. There's the story of 1972 graduate Norman Pezez. Norman was a popular Charger and a successful tennis player while here at Topeka West. He would earn a law degree from Washburn University and have a successful career in international business, serving as chairman of such companies as UniWest Group, Hair Cuttery, Fidelity, and Trust Corporation. And Pezez would give back to his community. He donated $1 million to Washburn Law School in order to help the school attract additional transactional law instruction.
And speaking of law, there's a Topeka West Charter who sits on the Kansas Supreme Court. 1971 graduate Justice Eric Rosen was a standout tennis player as well. He talks about his time at Topeka West and his impact on his adult life.
There I was, with my most notable high school achievement being, and my identity being a member of our championship tennis teams for every year that I was here. A student with just an acceptable GPA, but not by any means standing out academically. We all too often hear the cynical phrase, remember, you can't take it with you. But what I received at this cherished school, I did take with me. A belief in myself, a valuing of the individual worth of all my fellow classmates, and the conviction that work, diligence, and effort are the building blocks of a constructive life of public service and personal gratification. These are the virtues that are indelibly a part of my being and which I attribute to my experience here at Topeka West.
There's professional athletes Warren Seitz and Sherry Norris. Both excelled in multiple sports at Topeka West. Warren played for both the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants of the NFL. He also coached the Topeka West football team to its best season in history, finishing second in 2002. Sherry played in every major professional tennis tournament in the world, including the US Open and Wimbledon. Sherry ranks 15th and Warren ranks 21st on the list of Topeka's top 100 athletes of all time. Charger basketball player C.B. McGrath, class of 1994, was the state basketball player of the year his senior year. He went on to play at Kansas University. He's now a top assistant coach at the University of North Carolina. He is also on the list of Topeka's top 100 athletes of all time. Here's a fun fact. The last two Kansas University sportscasters are Topeka West graduates. 1962 graduate Bob Davis and 1997 graduate Brian Haney share the same love of sports and their Jayhawks. Both shared great memories of Topeka West where it all began.
Gene Smith, who had been our junior high football coach, came out here as football coach, and Wiley Allberg came from Topeka High to coach basketball, and Dwayne Scheffelberger, who's here today to head up journalism, and he let a dumb senior who had not taken any journalism the first 2 years in high school be his first sports editor. And I thought, boy, this is great. Go to ball games, write columns. Only negative, you had to be able to spell, which was an issue. We didn't have spell check then. And, I had to have punctuation. I thought, if I could just figure out a way to do this where all I had to do was talk.
Young sportscasters always try to emulate the big-time guys. And for me, back in the 1990s, it was ESPN's Chris Berman. I wanted to be the next Chris Berman, and Mr. Wilson was cool with that. He let me be my own Berman here at Topeka West. So much like Berman would do on ESPN's NFL Prime Time when he had his nicknames like Ben Heavy Winter Coats. Coach Wilson let me have nicknames like AJ Hip Hopper, and Bernard Wright became Bernard. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. The nicknames were probably sillier than they were creative, but Mr. Wilson was so encouraging. My time in Topeka West debate and forensics was also key. Mr. Kuntz helped me to be quick on my feet as a public speaker in debate, and Mrs. Ralston helped me to become a good persuasive speaker through numerous oration speeches, all of which were about sports, which again was an example of a Topeka West educator allowing the student to tailor the task to their ambition and thus propelling me forward. Mr. Schnacker was awesome too. He helped me to become a much better writer, and that really set me on a fast track once I got to KU.
And as we said in 1962, what's the best? Topeka West.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
The pop music field saw and heard contributions of the rock band Kansas. Founding members Kerry Livgren, Dave Hope, Phil E. Hart, and Rich Williams are Charger graduates. As a matter of fact, their rock anthem, Carry On Wayward Son, is about a Topeka West kid finding his way in life.
If I had been at a student assembly in this room in 1967, and you had come up to me and told me that nearly 50 years later I was going to be receiving an award, I would have fell over dead. There's no way on earth that I could have imagined in my wildest dreams anything like this. I was not a standout student. I didn't stand out in any way. I had a nice grade average from the high C's to the low C's. And I remember the first time I ever went to one of those Friday night varsity dances. Do you remember those things? We had them every Friday in the gym. Well, that first Friday after school opened, I went to the varsity, and I walked up to the band. It was the Rising Suns, and I just saw my entire life flash before my eyes right then and there.
There were more than a lot of musicians at Topeka West. It was so in to be in a band back then. You were either a musician or a jock or a nerd. Those were the three categories. And there were so many musicians that you didn't ask a guy, hey, are you in a band? You'd say, hey, what band are you in?
As you know, lighting is a very important part of any concert. Two Chargers have been lighting up the stages of some of the world's biggest entertainers. Charger graduate Jonathan Rice has worked with groups such as AC/DC and Guns N' Roses. In 1971, graduate Merle McLean headed up to the lighting of Michael Jackson's Thriller tour. Topeka West graduate and bass player Mark Greenwood has played with country superstar Garth Brooks for many years. Violinist Alicia Enstrom has played in such venues as Cirque du Soleil, the CMA Awards. She's played with countless stars including Keith Urban, Peter Mayer, and the Nashville Symphony. While she was at West, she was not only an outstanding musician, but also a multi-sport athlete excelling at soccer. And then there's Lillian Singfield, an internationally known opera singer and actress. She's also a well-known instructor in the Bay Area.
The faculty members that are here today and that aren't here today, the ones that are here today, you know who you are, that touched me deeply. I want you to know that I know what you did for me. I use all your bag of tricks that you gave me every day. I use them on stage, I use them in life, and as a teacher and an educator myself, I use them myself, and I just hope that I can continue passing along what you gave me. I feel like the performing arts were a wonderful vehicle for me to express myself, and I'm truly thankful for that. And the teachers that really touched me, thank you. Thank you very much.
Class of 2003 singer, dancer, and actor Antoine Hopper has performed on Broadway in the musical Hair and has also performed a role in the Cinemax The Nick. Additionally, Hopper has given back to Topeka West several times over the years by giving clinics here on campus. Kevin Young, class of 1988 with a degree from Harvard, is an internationally known poet and an educator. He is considered one of America's most innovative stars of literature.
Of course, there are countless doctors who have branched out all over the United States to practice, but they still call Topeka West home. 1972 graduate Greg Bowler is a nephrologist in Connecticut. Leslie Huntley Curtis, 1983, is a professor in medicine at Duke University School of Medicine. She talks about the impact of Topeka West.
When I think back to my time here at Topeka West, it is all with fondness and really deep affection. I had the privilege of having, I think, the best, the finest teachers that any student could have asked for, and I learned from them how to be a student, how to have fun, how to work hard, and that served me well throughout the several years that have come since I was here.
Locally, Dr. Robert Jacoby, class of 1964, has spent over 45 years in the medical field and is considered the patriarch of family medical doctors in Topeka. Dr. Brent Roeder, class of 1991, is one of the top gastroenterologists of the area. Dr. Scott Hamilton, class of 1976, and Dr. Don Wilson, class of 1984, are partners in a popular orthodontics practice located not too far from Topeka West. Dr. Peg McCarthy, class of 1983, and the local clinical psychologist talks about what West means to her.
From day one, I found exactly what I was looking for. I found those teachers, I found those classes, I found that spirit of intellectual curiosity. It was a big deal that I went on to Yale, but can I tell you that my classmates in my year went on to Stanford, to Brown, Washington University in St. Louis, Georgetown, on and on. I was far from the only student who had those abilities. And that tradition continues today at Topeka West.
Topeka West has never been short on leaders in business, not only locally but nationally and internationally. 1980 graduate Ken Caldwell has headed many large companies over the years, including Papa Murphy's. 1974 graduate who was active in football and wrestling, Carl Ice is the current CEO of Burlington Santa Fe Railroad. Ice is known for his philanthropic efforts, having to many different aspects of Kansas State University. The basketball training facility at KSU bears his name. 1979 graduate John Dykes is the CEO of Capital Federal Savings. Dykes has been heavily involved as a parent and supporter of Topeka West High School throughout his adult life. The Topeka Public Schools Capital Federal Auditorium is only one example of Dykes' giving back to his community.
Even those who have not achieved their dreams in life, and in fact have even fallen on hard times, can count on a Topeka West graduate to help advocate for them. 1974 graduate Barry Feeker has headed the Topeka Rescue Mission for many years and has helped it grow to become an important part of saving lives in the Topeka community.
But it was such an awesome experience to know that I was going to get to go to Topeka West and to be able to finally arrive and then be so struck with those goddesses and gods with little g's called the senior men and women, and literally walk down the sidewalks and see some of those women and run into the wall. And tall, clumsy kid walking up here and just being thinking I'll never ever achieve that kind of status. And of course, in 3 short years would be one of those little G's, senior guys, that would be able to then be able to do something significant within the school. Probably one of the things I gleaned the most out of Topeka West experience was the coaching staff and how they were encouragers. I find myself today to try to be an encourager to people who need that help. There were days that I would come to school and be really struggling because I wasn't the smartest kid in the class, and there were days that I knew that even though I'd go on to college football that I didn't think I'd ever make because of how bad I did here. There were those coaches that said, you can do it, you can do it. Our community today is made up of a lot of people who continue to tell people that they can do it. Today it's one of the most difficult times that I've ever seen. We've had on an average 100 more people staying at the homeless shelter at the rescue mission per night than we did a year ago, and it looks like it's going to go even further than that. But Topeka West was a foundational experience for me to be able to say you can do it. Today I'm encouraged by people who join with me, many from Topeka West, former graduates, as well as those who are students today who are encouraged by wanting to do something with their life that's not just about themselves.
North, south, east, or to where we roam.
Topeka West has grown. We've grown right along with it. A place where dreams begin and where new chapters will be written. So, what will your chapter be? For Topeka West Television, I'm Rachel Damerval.
And I'm Lucas Jackson. Thanks for joining us.